One, two.
Welcome to the show.
Can you?
Energy, grab me a positive synergy. I have been doubted through life. Been there and done that with trifling people who told me my style will not work. I told them they wrong. Been struggling too long. This song is for you. I'm proving you wrong. Get out my way. 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 Come here. Lay your head down on my shoulder. Yeah. Promise you don't have to shed another painful tear. Because
what up, y'all?
I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man. And I ain't going nowhere. We gon' make it through this thing called life. I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man. And we gon' ride, we gon' ride.
What up, K-Love?
Still remember the day
Hey,
I
Ferris, what up?
looked into your eyes. You caught me by surprise. That walk, that talk, the way you made me gravitate towards you. It changed me for the better. You're all I need, and you're all I see. And you're fine as wine. I'm so blessed you're mine. You stole my heart right from the start. When you said hello, I saw your glow. Hey, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man. And I ain't going nowhere. We gon' make it through this thing called life. I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man.
Jimmy Harris, what up?
Man. And we gon' ride, we gon' ride. Hey, if you ever been in love, put your hands up. If you tired of the lies, put your hands up. Wave them high up to the sky. If you ever been in love, put your hands up. If you tired of the lies, put your hands up. Wave them high up to the sky. I'm your man, yeah, I'm your man. And I ain't going nowhere. We gon' make it through this thing called life. I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man. And we gon' ride, we gon' ride. I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man. And I ain't going nowhere. We gon' make it through this thing called life. I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man, I'm your man. And we gon' ride, we gon' ride. Lay your head down on my shoulder. Yeah, yeah.
What up, what up, what up, what up, y'all? What's going on? This your boy, Atmos Love. We back, y'all. We back. Sorry for the absence, y'all. When I tell y'all that I was just so drained. I had to, my body was telling me, chill. I've been on this calorie watching diet, and it was the energy that I needed to get my rest and everything like that. And so not saying that I won't get back to reading the transcripts at a later time, but it seems as though we were so far behind with the P. Diddy thing that it'll be more effective to go ahead and probably do a day-by-day type coverage. And so I'm still trying to decide on how to coordinate that with my schedule. But I want y'all to know that everybody that read with me and all that, I do appreciate y'all. K-Love, Riri, Tanya, everybody. To Be Black Native, everybody who was reading, King Johan, everybody that pitched in. I do appreciate y'all, okay? But y'all, today we're going to talk about something a little bit different, okay? We're going to talk about something a little bit different. Now, y'all know that this channel really started off with the R. Kelly stuff, okay? And then after he got convicted, we kind of just, let it be. I was definitely rocking with OCOV, and honestly, I love them people over there, man. I ain't gonna lie, and the way things kind of separated, I think that it could have been a little bit different, but all them people over there, I love them. They like family to me. You know what I mean? Whenever if your family can fight, but when you see somebody try to come against family, it tends to make you say, you know what, maybe it's not that serious. Maybe your values and your morals mean more to you than pride. And so that's why I'm here to just give my 2 cents in this matter on what's been going on. Now, I know y'all that have been following this stuff have seen all the different motions and stuff like that R. Kelly been putting in. Y'all, look, I'm just going to keep it 1,000 with you. The evidence speaks for itself. The evidence speaks for itself. They tried to throw Larry into this motion and saying all this stuff. And, the evidence just totally makes all that stuff untrue. And so, I was on, people may call him an op, Dana J, who I'm cool with in real life. But he's just staying, 10 toes down for R. Kelly, no matter the fact that he's been proven to be a child. God knows, man. It's some of everything. Okay. But you got some people that are going to stand 10 toes down with him no matter what. Because some people, honestly, y'all, they just sick in the head. Some people just sick in the head. They don't care. All they care about is, well, he made great music. So get over it. Right? Let me see who up in here. K-Love 92, Faith Barris, hello. Diva Time in the building. What's going on? No, he's not getting out. He's not getting out. Way too much against him. Way too much evidence against him. We still got victims out here. We still got Joy, who has not been found yet. So you want relief, but you won't release the reins you have on Joy. You won't even come out and speak and say, y'all, I don't got no control over that woman no more. She out doing her own thing. Y'all stop. You ain't saying nothing. You just letting people. What's up, Purple Rains? What's going on? Not only that, but then you got Mia. You got me out here where you got things that are tied to the R. Kelly stuff. The same people that was around Joy and Azriel were the same people that was around this missing young lady named Mia. So until these ladies are found, I don't see no reason why you should get any type of relief. Okay, that's just real. That's just real talk. Let me read some of these comments. Gilda Brisbane, how you doing? Brother says, I live in Raleigh, 30 minutes down the street from where R. Kelly is house. That prison is terrible. So he's probably not lying about how he's been treated. What really goes out, what really goes out to him. Yeah, well, you know what? Unfortunately, Ms. Brisbane, he's in prison. So, a lot of times when you go to prison, it's not going to be a plush luxury living like he was living on the outside world, right? So, unfortunately, he put himself in that situation. But as far as this stuff, and y'all, y'all notice, I learned a long time ago doing this kind of stuff, where sometimes when you jump straight out soon as something come out, a lot of times some of the stuff in there is not true. So you looking crazy, got to come back and retract what you said, and I should have waited a little bit longer. That's what I've learned to do. That's why I haven't spoke on this stuff until now. Because what happened is motion got denied, right? and pretty much his what's up in his service, how you doing? So the evidence is starting to come out. Now you could talk about it because now you're starting to see, okay, this was the result of what they put in. All the stuff they put in on Larry. Complete lies. Complete lies. You got these bloggers out here that's trying to tear this man down. This man just trying to drive, take care of his family, rebuild his life. And it's just crazy, right? So one thing about me is I'm not one who's going to sit back and watch people just straight like pounce on one person. That's just crazy as hell. Don't make no sense. All the man did was try to help these girls. You may have your different opinion about him, but overall, dude's a good dude in real life. And so, you know, today we're going to talk about, y'all, I was looking through some of these motions, and when I tell y'all, they are after Larry. They after that man. Bo Brindley and them are after him. They posted his transcripts on there. You can buy his motion on there for $3. What? Damn. They really blowing this thing up, right? So, man, shout out to Larry, man. Shout out to Larry. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Let me see what Gilda said. Prison not supposed to be comfortable. At least let him stay in the hospital. If the hospital, Duke Hospital, was trying to keep him to treat. Now, I will say this: if he really has a blood clot issue, yeah, I don't want the man to die in there. If it's something that can help him with his health, I am on that. I will say that I'm for him getting the right treatment. You can have prison guards stand outside his door while he getting his treatment. Like I don't see. I agree with that. Let that man get the right treatment. I do agree with that. That's real talk. But man, shout out to Larry, man. Shout out to Larry. Shout out to Larry. So let's talk about this, y'all. First of all, let me backtrack and tell y'all what I've been doing. Atlas, where you been? How you gonna reach transit and go away? Let me show y'all what I've been doing. So I had my show the other night, and for those of y'all that couldn't see it, most of y'all don't live here. It was a packed out show. I'm just gonna give y'all a little glimpse into what I do outside of YouTube. Okay, let me just show this to y'all real quick. Let's see here. Here we go. Y'all check this out. That's it. Okay. Hope you understand me. Every word I say is true. Because I love you. Baby, I'm thinking of you. Trying to be more of a man for you. Cause but we gonna see it through. Cause I love you. Don't leave me like this. Don't leave me like this, baby. I love you. Dang, man. Hope you understand me. So, y'all, that's just some of the things that I do in my personal life, right? I love to sing. I love to act. There was a stage play that I was in that's actually about to go on the road, y'all. So hopefully coming to a city near you, y'all will get to check your boy out and see me live on the stage. Hopefully if I come to y'all city, y'all come check me out, man. That will be awesome. Okay. All right. West Coast Bells, what up? What up? What up? What up? All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and let's talk. Here's an article that came out today. I want y'all to just kind of see this. It just came out. Hold on. Let me share this with y'all. Let's share this with y'all. Hold on. Let's go.
Legal team for R. Kelly is now trying to get a new trial. They filed a motion today, just one day after a judge denied to release Kelly and move him on home detention. His attorneys claim he was poisoned by prison officials, and he is being denied life-saving surgery for blood clots. Kelly is serving a 31-year sentence for separate convictions related to his sexual misconduct.
Now, like I said, I don't support not giving that man treatment.
President Trump addressing reporters now over touching down in New.
We'll take that off. I don't support not giving him treatment. If he needs treatment for his blood clots, get a man a treatment for the blood clots. Okay, I really feel like you know, at a minimum, let that man get the right treatment. Okay, I don't see him getting out of prison alive personally. Do I want to see anybody die in prison? No, of course not, right? We were all at one time fans of R. Kelly. Let's just be honest. But when all the evidence comes out that shows exactly what you did to little girls and young women, people that were vulnerable, people that that you took advantage of because of your stardom, I just can't rock with that. I just can't rock with it, okay? But the subject at hand today, y'all, is these court papers that came out today. Okay, K-Love, if you want to, I'll put the link in the chat. If I can get a couple of readers to come up and help me, it's 30 pages, not a lot to read. K-Love, if you want to help me come up here, anybody else out there, I'm going to put the link in the chat again. I would love to have some help reading this. This is some pretty fiery stuff here, but I would love to have some help. Let me post this here. I'll paste it in the chat. There we go. There we go. Okay. So there's the link. Hit it whenever you want to. I'm going to go ahead and start reading this here and go over this with y'all. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. Present, share. Okay, here we go, y'all. So this came out today. It is fresh off the press. Okay. So it is United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois, Eastern Division, the United States versus Robert Sylvester Kelly, is known as R. Kelly, the Honorable Martha McLeod. They filed this, y'all, in the Northern District of Illinois today. As y'all see, it's 6/20/25. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. What this here is, y'all, is a motion for a new trial, an emergency motion for bond. So R. Kelly is asking for a new trial and an emergency motion for bond. It says, comes now defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly by and through counsel Bo Brindley, and hereby moves this honorable court for a new trial pursuant to Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 33 and for bond pending the resolution of this new trial motion. In support of his motion, Mr. Kelly states the following. Robert Kelly presently sits in a prison cell with blood clots in his lungs that could kill him at any time. The surgery that doctors at Duke University Hospital believed necessary to remove the clots and save his life, a pulmonary embolectomy, was actively prevented by officers armed with assault rifles who removed Mr. Kelly from the hospital and placed him in solitary confinement in FCI Butner. This happened immediately after prison officials administered to him an overdose of his sleeping medication, which could have killed him. Prison officials took two intentional acts that put Mr. Kelly's life in imminent danger. Within 2 days after he filed a motion that made public a declaration by Michael Glenn Stein, an avowed white supremacist and commissioner of the Aryan Brotherhood, who swore that he was transferred to FCI Butner for the purpose of killing R. Kelly and soliciting to do so by a Bureau of Prisons official. This is not a coincidence. This is not an R. Kelly production. This is what you are doing to him as these words are being written. We understand that there are shocking factual assertions, yet facts they are, and they can no longer be avoided. Duke University hospitals have confirmed that Mr. Kelly was a patient at the times he indicated between June 13th and June 15th, 2025. A assigned HIPAA waiver has been obtained. Medical records have already been ordered. Sources inside the hospital have confirmed that Mr. Kelly's account of his hospitalization is correct. The medical records will confirm that we have already stated in the previous filings. The truth is becoming undeniable. Bureau of Prisons officials do not want R. Kelly to survive and are actively trying to kill him. In recent days, the recurrent question has been, why? This motion over which this court's jurisdiction is indisputable will answer that question and seek to immediate release of Robert Kelly as the only possible way to ensure that he lives to see his motion litigated to conclusion. The undersigned has been told that the informal and internal motto of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago is justice is just us. Let me see if there's anybody. Okay, cool. All right. Justice is just us. The conduct that is detailed below illustrates the critical danger of such a mindset, which prosecutors believe that they define what justice is. Then they begin to think that whatever they do to achieve their goals is simply justifiable. They begin to break the law while purporting to uphold it. They begin to believe that their decision to make a person the target of an investigation renders the person guilty. And they begin to think that whatever they choose to do to make their case against their so-called target is necessarily righteous, regardless of what laws are broken or how many constitutional rights are fractured in the process. This is what happened with Robert Kelly. Prosecutors made the decision to use Bureau of Prisons officials and cooperating witnesses to break the law, to commit crimes, and to knowingly and intentionally and repeatedly violate Mr. Kelly's constitutional rights, all as a means of making a case that should never have been brought and getting to a conviction. Y'all hold one moment. What's up, bro? What do you mean? How does she handle it? Tell her, what do you mean? Okay, tell her to come back. Well, she can't. It's an emergency. She got to show concern for the customer. Well, they're going to be at the hospital probably. Ask her, can she come back tomorrow morning? It's going to be a partial. I mean, what? I mean, okay. Yeah, I mean, that probably, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, what else can we do? Yeah, but that's an emergency situation. All right, bro. Yep. Partial to whatever. All right, man. Sorry, y'all. That was work. Okay, so R. Kelly is the ultimate target. He was acquitted in 2008 after relentless investigation and accusation. He was the very autonomy of the one that got away, armed with the fervor of cancel culture, the strident indication of the Me Too movement, and the bright lights of a Lifetime television show. The U.S. Attorney's Office decided that they were going to get R. Kelly by any means necessary. The case in Chicago began and ended with one critical witness. She went by the pseudonym Jane. At the trial, although her identity has been repeatedly revealed in many publications, the instant case would never have existed without the cooperation and testimony of Jane. She was the key. Without her, the whole case crumbles. Yet, over the last year, we have discovered that the road to that testimony was paved by threats, empty promises, crimes, and constitutional violations. in order to have their victim to go after R. Kelly, the public figure, they were intent on bringing down. Prosecutors are the ones that did the victimizing. They made an unwilling person play the role of victim to serve their desires for the grander and bringing down a larger than life public figure within the sanctimonious buzz of the Me Too movement. And they did it through crime, threat, and coercion. That is the very essence of illegally weaponizing the Department of Justice to pursue a public figure. Oh boy, I think y'all should know what's coming next. I think y'all should know what's coming next. Hold on, y'all. All right, y'all hold one moment. Okay, y'all, I'm back. All right, so pretty much, public figure. Okay. Now, when speaking at the Department of Justice, President Trump recently remarked, as a chief law enforcement officer in our country, I will insist upon and demand full and complete accountability for the wrongs and abuses that have occurred. The case of U.S. versus Kelly is one of the wrongs to which these comments plainly apply. This motion will illustrate and set forth the wrongs that were done to Mr. Kelly, and the relief sought the vacation of his convictions and his immediate release on bond pending the litigation of this motion will provide the accountability to the current administration demands. So y'all, let's talk a little bit. So obviously y'all see that they are trying to Kayla, can you come up here and help me? Are you able to come up and help me? As y'all can see, they are trying to get President Trump to give him a pardon. I don't see that happening. I personally don't see that happening, but you know, anything can happen. But in this case, when Trump see the evidence, he's gonna probably be like, bruh, nah, I can't do that for you. I'm sorry, Robert, I can't do that. Right? Here we go. Let's continue. Factual background says in 2008, Jane specifically told a Cook County jury that she was not the person who appeared in the video. That is the heart of the instant case. Okay. All right, y'all, hold one moment. Let me do this. Hold on. Turn this light out. Blinded me. Okay, here we go. All right. Instant case. So trial and some case law, volume 5 at 9/13. Without her testimony, Robert Kelly was found not guilty. The only FBI analysis done on the videotape could not identify her in the prison as the person in the video. Exhibit A, for approximately 20 years, she never suggested anything to the contrary. However, as the Me Too movement heated up and surviving R. Kelly began to flicker in the eyes of prosecutors who saw him as the one that got away, something changed. That change did not come from Jane. She did not independently come forward. Give me one moment here. Hey, love. Hey.
I can't be here long.
That's fine. That's fine. You said you can do about 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to let you read a little bit then. Let me see. Start from... let's see here. Okay. Start from without her testimony at the top, which says Robert Kelly was found not guilty.
The only FBI analysis done on the videotape could not identify her as the person in the video, Exhibit A. For approximately 20 years, she never suggested anything to the contrary. However, as the Me Too movement heated up and surviving R. Kelly began to flicker in the eyes of prosecutors who saw him as the one that got away, something changed. That change did not come from Jane. She did not independently come forward and change her story. She did not participate in any aspect of surviving R. Kelly. She did not independently assert that she was the person depicted in any videotape. What changed was the tactics that the prosecutors were willing to use to get her to change her story. Over the past year, the undersigned and his office have interviewed witnesses who have come forward and will testify under oath to the following facts about what happened to Jane. There are witnesses who were not available to the defense at the time of the trial, people who actively avoided or refused to be questioned. In one instance, this is a witness who testified for the government at trial and was not willing to share the truth with defense counsel out of fear. There are other witnesses whom Jane confided the truth after the trial ended. And of course, there is Jane herself. At a hearing on this matter, the defense will call Jane to the witness stand along with other witnesses who will be identified for the court after the issue of the recusal of the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Illinois has been litigated. Those witnesses will finally provide the truth. AUSA Angel Cruel and accompanying federal agents pursued Jane after she indicated she did not wish to speak to them. They told Jane that if she did not change her story, her parents would both be charged with engaging in a criminal conspiracy with R. Kelly to obstruct justice. They told her that she had evidence of her payments her mother and father received from Mr. Kelly. They told her that Cruel would use them to see that her parents were prosecuted and jailed unless Jane would change her story and cooperate with the government as prosecutors pursued their desire to get R. Kelly and obtain his conviction. I already have a problem with this.
Oh man, it is. It's insane.
Real quick,
Yeah,
I don't feel like this is right to re-traumatize that girl.
it's not. It's not. I agree with you.
Oh.
I completely agree with you.
In addition to the threat, Cruel and others on the prosecution team further told Jane that she would be able to receive a substantial financial award if she gave testimony that led to Mr. Kelly's conviction. That proved to be an outright lie, but it was told as truth, and Jane believed it. Faced with the threat that her aging parents would be jailed and the promise that she could get a life altering financial award for giving testimony that led to a conviction, Jane agreed to change her story and go to the grand jury for the federal government. Her grand jury testimony in this case was the direct product of threat, intimidation, and coercion. Jane experienced it, she reported it to others. There will be no doubt it happened. Prosecutors compelled the primary witness in this case to change her prior sworn testimony under oath and claimed that she was formally a perjurer by threatening her family with jail and promising her wealth. Yet, that was just the start of the injustices that would be created by the effort to prosecute Robert Kelly in federal court in Chicago. The prosecutorial misconduct in the case got worse rather than better. After they got Mr. Kelly charged and held in custody at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago, the prosecution team enlisted Bureau of Prison officers and cooperating witnesses to steal his correspondence with his lawyer and his private emails. The legal correspondence was used to gain an unfair and plainly unconstitutional advantage over Mr. Kelly by giving prosecutors insight into his strategy with his lawyers to which the government had no right. The legal correspondence and the stolen private emails were further used to directly influence Jane and the person who would become the primary witness against Robert Kelly in New York, here and after Jane, New York. While Robert Kelly was being held in custody on federal charges. A series of crimes were committed. The crimes were not committed by Robert Kelly. They were not committed by anyone he associated with him prior to his incarceration. They were committed by Bureau of Prison officers and cooperating witnesses authorized by the government. Like all inmates, Mr. Kelly's phone calls and emails were monitored by prison officials. However, in this instance, a Bureau of Prisons officer named Tawana Ingram was not listening to or monitoring Mr. Kelly's recorded calls and emails. She was instead stealing them. Specifically, Miss Ingram illegally accessed and stole a series of phone calls and emails regarding Mr. Kelly's relationship with a woman other than Jane or Jane NY. Miss Ingram was a special investigative services disciplinary officer who had no business dealing with any of Mr. Kelly's communications. She did not work at the facility at which Mr. Kelly was being housed and was not even supposed to have access to the system containing his emails and calls. Yet somehow she was allowed to gain access for the purpose of stealing Mr. Kelly's private communications, both emails and recorded telephone calls, including privileged communications with his lawyer. There is an ongoing civil suit regarding her conduct pending right now before Honorable Judge Bucklow in the Northern District of Illinois. Armed with illicit access that was granted to her by someone in the Department of Justice, Ingram stole emails and calls that were specifically inflammatory to Jane and Jane NY. These were private conversations to which Jane and Jane NY were not privy. They had no way to know the content of these conversations. Hence, they were targeted and stolen for the purpose of biasing witnesses against Robert Kelly and thereby helping the government make its case. Only persons with knowledge of the investigation would have known which emails and calls to target and steal for the purpose of influencing Jane and Jane NY. The stolen communications included communications with his attorney at the time, which were protected under the attorney client privilege. On his own, this is a shameful abuse of a position of trust by a federal prison official for the purpose of influencing the case against Mr. Kelly. But it became far more insidious than that. Kishin, I'm just going to say M,
That's cool.
was was Robert Kelly's cellmate both before he was transferred to New York to face trial there and again months later when he came back to Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago after finishing his trial in New York. In the declaration attached as Exhibit B, Mr. M admits that he met with prosecutors and sought a reduced sentence in exchange for providing cooperation against Mr. Kelly. M agreed to steal Mr. Kelly's written correspondence from their cell and provide it to prison officials who would then give it to the United States attorneys handling the investigation against Mr. Kelly. M was debriefed by AUSA Angel Cruel and agreed to provide this cooperation. ASA Cruel was also the person whom the stolen correspondence was ultimately provided. Make no mistake, it is a crime for one inmate to steal the legal correspondence of another. That is threat. That is theft. It is a separate crime for AUSA Cruel and BOP officials who helped her to direct the theft and utilize the stolen privileged legal correspondence. That is an obstruction of justice. Mr. M would routinely take Mr. Kelly's mail while Kelly was at a visit or somewhere else in the facility. In particular, he made a point of stealing Mr. Kelly's legal mail that was written to his lawyers. These were letters that were marked legal mail by Mr. Kelly. This was the intentional theft of attorney-client correspondence, which violated Mr. Kelly's constitutional rights and gave the government unauthorized access to his strategy and to confidential facts to which they were not entitled. That stolen mail was then handed off to Special Investigations Officer Luke Selby at MCC, who copied it and gave the original gave back the original for Mr. M to return to the cell such that Mr. Kelly would never know it was gone. The copy of this stolen correspondence was ultimately provided to AUSA Cruel. The stolen correspondence included information about Mr. Kelly's relationship with another woman, which was to be kept secret from Jane and Jane NY, as it would create a serious jealousy problem in their relationships with Mr. Kelly. No one besides Mr. Kelly and his attorneys had access to that information. After Mr. Kelly's communications were stolen without his knowledge by a combination of Officer Ingram, Officer Selby, and Mr. M, these stolen communications were provided by prosecutors to a cooperating government informant named Larry McGee.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Oh my God.
who was
Oh my.
also offering to cooperate in exchange for a reduced sentence. Wow.
Damn.
In social media videos, Miss McGee has admitted spending hours coercing witnesses to turn against Robert Kelly by showing them his calls and emails. He has admitted getting people to lie about Robert Kelly in November of 2018. With the full knowledge of AUSA Cruel, Jane went to Los Angeles for the purpose of meeting with individuals that Cruel contended would be helpful in preparing her to testify. In reality, at that time, Jane had no intention of ever going through with trial testimony against Mr. Kelly, but she was not sharing that the prosecutors that threaten her parents. She went to Los Angeles anyway, as that is what she understood she was supposed to do. When Jane got to California, the person who met her was Larry McGee. McGee took her to a residence. At that residence, McGee introduced Jane to Jane and why this is crazy.
It's insane. This is freaking insane. This is his best way to try to get out of this. They ain't got nobody else to pick on but Larry.
I have another problem though. Why would they send him letters when he can't read?
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. Where was I? He then proceeded to talk to them both extensively about why they should testify against Robert Kelly and all the government would do for them if they did.
Oh my God, that's a damn lie.
McGee showed Jane and Jane NY stolen emails and letters that were sent from Robert Kelly to his lawyer. Jane saw the letters and remembers them explicitly. These letters reference Mr. Kelly's relationship with another woman that was neither Jane or Jane NY. These letters and emails engendered anger in both Jane and Jane NY. They began to talk about how Mr. Kelly had been secretly having relationships with each of them behind the other's back. This conversation and the review of the letters between Robert and his lawyer compelled Jane to become extremely angry at Mr. Kelly. Jane has indicated that she would never have testified against Mr. Kelly at trial had she not had this discussion with Jane NY, and had she not seen the letters and messages between Mr. Kelly and his lawyer. As a result of this conduct, Larry McGee was rewarded with a cooperation agreement from the government
Oh,
and an incredibly light sentence of 18 months despite federal charges. His sentencing transcript was redacted so no one would know what he did or how he obtained the material to influence Jane and Jane NY. Exhibit C. Jane has confirmed that it was McGee who put her and Jane NY together in Los Angeles. It was McGee who showed them letters and emails between Mr. Kelly and his lawyer. Jane knows this because she experienced it. The government thought they could hide their illicit conduct behind a sealed sentencing transcript to which Mr. Kelly and his defense team have been denied access, but Jane's personal experience exposes them anyway.
mm, mm, mm.
All of this information about stolen communications being given to the cooperating witness, Larry McGee, by prosecutors was kept from the defense. The theft of Mr. Kelly's legal mail by M and its provision to prosecutors was kept from the defense. The meeting between the two primary witnesses in the New York and Chicago cases, which was facilitated by a cooperating witness working for the U.S. attorneys from whom he sought a reduced sentence, was kept from the defense. During Mr. Kelly's trial in New York, prosecutors advised his attorneys that they had just been made aware of an investigation into a theft of some of Mr. Kelly's communications. The prosecutors said that the investigation was ongoing and they had no other information to provide. They contended to have no knowledge of who had stolen the communications and what was done with them. When Mr. Kelly asked to have time to investigate to see if this theft could influence the case against him, prosecutors claimed they had no other information to provide. None of that was true. In reality, at the time, federal prosecutors in New York claimed a lack of knowledge about the investigation of stolen communications. The truth was that a search warrant for Tawana Ingram's house and electronic devices had already been executed. The application for that warrant identified undeniable evidence that she stole Mr. Kelly's communications. The search of her residence confirmed it. All of that information was in the possession of federal prosecutors who did not have it. Also in their possession was the attorney-client mail stolen by Mr. M, which was used by McGee to influence witnesses against Mr. Kelly. This too was hidden from Mr. Kelly and his lawyers. Coincidentally, Mr. Kelly lacked the ability to attack the central witnesses against him based on a bias that was intentionally generated through the use of privileged communications stolen by a federal officer and trafficked to a cooperating informant by federal prosecutors and agents, and legal mail stolen by a cellmate working for the government who trafficked the purloined letters to prison officers who gave it to federal prosecutors who then provided it to a cooperating witness that would bring Jane and Jane NY together to collude against Mr. Kelly at his urging. Ooh.
Mm, mm. I could jump in.
Okay.
I'll say Mr. M2, Mr. Margot Dumundi provided the information in the declaration in the presence of a certified Telugu interpreter. Thank you very much, Kayla, for coming on. I know you got to hop off to go and do something, but thank you very much for coming on.
No problem.
Interpreter and the undersigned associate, Edward McDavid. On March 11, 2025, Mr. McDavid and the Telugu interpreter discussed with Mr. M the execution of a written statement summarized some of the information that was provided at their prior meeting. Mr. M ultimately signed a statement which was also executed by a certified interpreter to demonstrate that it was fully and accurately translated for Mr. M prior to its execution. A copy of that signed statement is attached to this filing, Exhibit B, along with the resume of the certified interpreter, Exhibit D. In that written statement, M again admitted the theft of Mr. Kelly's attorney-client correspondence. The transfer of that stolen correspondence to an SIS officer, Officer Luke Shelby at MCC, and the ultimate provision of that stolen correspondence to AUSA Cruel. Mr. M also indicated that prosecutors in this case asked him why he was being visited by attorneys from the undersigned office even before Mr. McDavid obtained his signed statement. At the point this signed statement was obtained, the undersigned office had in its possession a signed admission from an insider who confessed his role in a conspiracy to violate the constitutional rights of Mr. Kelly and bias witnesses against him through the use of stolen privilege information. This was a conspiracy to obstruct justice carried out, and jailers and the cooperating witnesses they used to do their bidding. This conspiracy involved the Bureau of Prisons and was orchestrated by the U.S. Attorney's Office. By his own admission, they directed Mr. M to do the same thing that Tawana Ingram was given access to do. They got, so this is the name of the lady who stole the emails. Is this the one, the BOP officer they was talking about? They finally got her, huh? Tawana was given access to do when she stole private emails and calls made and sent by Mr. Kelly to his lawyer. Special Investigations Officer of the Bureau of Prisons were the ones handling the stolen correspondence in both instances. Ingram's theft had been documented and is undisputed. In this case, McGee's and M involvement was hidden rather than discussed. McGee's influence over Jane and Jane NY was denied rather than acknowledged. In a letter to his attorney in the Chicago case, the government claimed no knowledge about any stolen correspondence being shown to a witness, Exhibit E. That was a lie. Jane's recollection of the personal experiences will prove that the government did know. They knew McGee was there. They knew McGee would be showing Jane and Jane NY certain documents. It strains credulity, whatever it is, credulity, to try to fathom how the prosecutors could claim not to have known. The stolen email was given by M to the BOP officers who participated in the theft to federal prosecutors. They knew exactly what was happening. They were using stolen attorney email and cooperating witnesses to influence the two witnesses they most needed to testify against Robert Kelly in the two respective cases. Unfortunately for the government, McGee's disclosures on social media exposed his conduct after the fact. Mr. M, recent admissions prove that the government has intentionally violated the rights of Mr. Kelly and illicitly tainted witnesses against him. The government hid the truth beneath pages of blacked out redactions in McGee's sentencing transcript. That's why they posted Larry's sentencing transcripts today. I wondered why they did that. Y'all, they got this. This is crazy. When I tell y'all they after that man, it's insane. Senators and behind the undisclosed behavior of secret cooperating witnesses, Keshawn M. But Jane's memory of the events and M's recent declaration betrayed government counsel and revealed the truth. Just 4 days after Mr. McDavid obtained the signed statement from Mr. M, including these admissions, Mr. Kelly was contacted by a prison official at FCI Butler. The official in question advised Mr. Kelly that he got a call and that they, meaning the government, knew that his lawyers in Chicago had been meeting with a witness in jail and that this witness had provided information to the lawyers. The official then advised Mr. Kelly that he was in danger and that Mr. Kelly needed to be careful. The BOP official, okay, thank you so much. The BOP official intimated that Mr. Kelly was not safe in the Bureau of Prisons custody. The BOP official further advised that Mr. Kelly should avoid the mess hall. The official wishes to remain anonymous. His identity is known to the defense and can be provided to the court in camera if needed after the issue of recusal has been addressed. Wow. So they saying they actually have an actual BOP officer. That's crazy. Who's willing to risk it all for this? Huh. Okay. In the wake of this troubling dialogue with the prison official, on April 11, 2025, an inmate incarcerated with Mr. Kelly approached him and disclosed that he was sent to FCI Butner by BOP officials who directed him to murder Mr. Kelly. The inmate's name is Mikael Glenn Stein. He is a member of the Aryan Brotherhood gang. He has been in the Bureau of Prisons custody since 1982. So he's been in there for 43 years, okay? Which one interpretation generated by his escape. While incarcerated, he rose to the position of commissioner of the Aryan Brotherhood. He had signed a declaration setting forth a long history of assaults and murders that he was ordered and participated in the direction of Bureau of Prisons official Exhibit F. Inmates who posed problems for the Bureau of Prison staff and for inmates with whom staff members were engaged in illegal business were attacked and or killed by members of the Aryan Brotherhood. As commissioner of the AB, Mr. Stein directed members of the AB to commit these acts. In exchange, he or other AB members received special privileges, including no cell searches and the ability to traffic narcotics within the prison without any interference. Mr. Stein indicated that the prison official that has overseen multiple BOP facilities solicited his participation in multiple killings and assaults. This official's name is Rashay Childress. Wow. Mr. Stein had many interactions with Childress while incarcerated at the ADX Florence Supermax facility. Childress has ordered murders and beatings that have been carried out by Mr. Stein and those who he gave directions. Mr. Stein is prepared to testify regarding all of these murders in order to provide a foundational backdrop of what happened when Childress approached him about Mr. Kelly. Y'all, this is deep. This is crazy. Yeah, Caleb, I agree with you. If I was Larry, I would sue these folks for defamation, emotional distress, lost wages, everything. This is nuts. I agree. I would sue the hell out of them too. You want to talk about, man, like this is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. On or about February 2023, Stein was housed in a special housing unit at USP Tuscan. Without any warning, he was approached for a unexpected official visit. No Bureau of Prisons guards were present. Instead, Mr. Childress directly approached him. Warden Gutierrez and Assistant Warden, Assistant Warden Stangl were with him. They took him out of his cell and took him to an office area in a special housing unit. Being moved without any guards is unprecedented, but it was done in this instance. Once in the office, Childress did all the talking. He advised Stein that he was aware of his terminal cancer diagnosis. He said that he knew Stein had only a matter of months to live, and that he had a plan that would allow Stein to live out his last months as a free man. Childress advised Stein that he was being sent to FCI Butner. He further advised that there was an inmate at Butner who poses a threat to the Bureau of Prisons and to the government, a person whose high-priced lawyers were going to expose damaging information that would harm high-ranking BOP officers and higher up DOJ people, Department of Justice. Wow. Childress told Stein that he needed him to eliminate the problem. Childress asked Stein if he was familiar with the musical artist R. Kelly. Stein also knew of Kelly from the news. Childress told Stein that Kelly is a rapist. He told Stein Kelly raped little white girls, and he told Stein that Kelly was someone that the Aryan Brotherhood would want gone. Childress told Stein that he would be sent to FCI Butner. He said Stein would go to the medical center first and would be eventually moved to Kelly's unit. There, Childress indicated that Stein would kill R. Kelly, and this was a plot to commit murder for the purpose of covering up the crimes noted above. Who it is that gave directives to Childress is a further question that may be answered through a hearing in this motion. Childress told Stein that he would be charged for the murder, but the evidence would be mishandled and there would be no conviction. He further told Stein that he would be transferred following the killing, and on the way, Stein will be permitted to escape, just as he did when he first escaped from POP custody, a well-documented event. Childress told Stein that he could live out his days as a free man as long as he did what he was told. Stein agreed to this proposal. Gutierrez and Stengel were present for this conversation. Following the conversation, Stein was taken back to his cell in the SHU. Within 2 weeks of meeting with Childress, Stein was transferred to FCI Butner as a general matter. BOP transfers almost never happened that quickly. After arriving at Butler, Stein was not on Kelly's unit. BOP transfers, it says he was ultimately taken to the medical center, just like Childress said. Stein was at the medical center between October 17, 2023 and March of 2025. While at the medical center, Stein was approached by an official in a suit. He does not know his name. This official told Stein that he knew of his diagnosis. He knew that there was no treatment available, and he told Stein, "You need to do what you came here for." Shortly after that visit, Stein was moved to R. Kelly's unit. He arrived in the unit on March 2025. After arriving in the unit, Stein found Mr. Kelly. He followed him. He watched him. He considered how to carry out his murder. He was prepared to carry out the execution. But in the moment when Stein got near Mr. Kelly, he made a different choice. He told him the truth. Stein told Kelly that he was sent to kill him. He told him how and by who. He told Mr. Kelly that his life was absolutely in danger. As a dying man with a long history of murder and violence in his past, Stein decided not to carry out his order. Instead, he decided to take this opportunity to expose Childress and the BOP for the decades of murder and violence that they have foisted upon the inmate populace while facing no consequences whatsoever. Mr. Stein is prepared to take a polygraph examination. He is also prepared to testify before this court. He is prepared to provide the names of the other witnesses who can corroborate his account of the violence that the Aryan Brotherhood has carried out at the direction of Childress and other BOP officers. Get some water. As of the writing of this motion, other Aryan Brotherhood members are now present in Mr. Kelly's unit. Another BOP officer at FCI Butner named Lieutenant Teague has approached Mr. Stein on multiple occasions, reminding him of what he must do. On June 6, 2025, the defense learned that a second member of the Aryan Brotherhood, who is housed at FCI Butner, had just been approached by Lieutenant Teague and directed to carry out the execution of Mr. Kelly and Mr. Stein. This man's name was David Keith Harris. The possibility of poison being mixed into the food and the chow hall in the commissary as a means of achieving these executions was discussed by Harris by Lieutenant Teague. This means that at least 2 avowed white supremacists and members of the Aryan Brotherhood have been approached by BOP officers and directed to take Mr. Kelly's life. The one who failed to do so had his own life threatened. All of this has been at the direction of Bureau of Prisons officers whose duty is to keep safety inmates under the supervision. Both Stein and Harris have agreed to take polygraph examinations and testify to these facts whenever called. An emergency motion for release for custody based on these threats was filed on June 10th, 2025. Within hours of our filing, Mr. Kelly was placed in solitary confinement. He had no access to phones to call his family and friends. He had no way to call his lawyer. Here's a little side note, the defense has not had the time to formally interview Harris because of the immediacy of the information that he provided. Okay. When they came to him to solitary, Mr. Kelly immediately asked to call his lawyer. He was denied that request. He was put in solitary confinement against his will. After no one heard from him on the evening of June 10, 2025, the undersigned office began making efforts to determine what happened. Prison official refused to tell him whether Mr. Kelly had been placed in solitary confinement. All they would say is that he's still housed in the same facility. After multiple sustained demands, the undersigned finally got a legal call with Mr. Kelly on the morning of June 11th. It was only then that the circumstances for Mr. Kelly faces were brought to his attention. In solitary, Mr. Kelly could not eat his own food from his locker, which he purchased from commissary. The prison officials refused to give it to him. Mr. Kelly has spiders crawling over him, and he tried to sleep. He did not eat between June 10th and June 12th because the only food they would bring him comes from the chow hall, which both a prison official warned him. Damn. This is crazy. What's up, Rodney? What's up, man? With the allegations made by Michael Glenn Stein, while the allegations made by Michael Glenn Stein were shocking, the events that transpired since the filing of Mr. Kelly's motion for temporary furlough are equally stunning, but yet undeniable. When combined with what has already been asserted, the recent events plainly support Mr. Stein's accusation that the Bureau of Prison officers are seeking to kill Robert Kelly to cover up crimes committed by U.S. attorneys and the BOP officers involved in the investigation of the case. The government counsel has called Mr. Kelly's prior motion for release from custody with the words like fanciful and theatrical. They can use whatever words they like. The problem for the government is that the allegations in Mr. Kelly's motion are not his. They are the allegations of people who participated in crimes committed by the government officials in an effort to make federal cases against Mr. Kelly and in a plot to take Mr. Kelly's life as a means of covering up those crimes. For those who doubt the idea that Bureau of Prisons officers seek to harm Mr. Kelly, the recent events described below will replace skeptical doubt with stunned recognition of an undeniable reality. Mr. Kelly's life is in danger, and the threat comes from the Bureau of Prison officers whose duty it is to protect him. Mr. Kelly was sent to solitary confinement against his will shortly after the filing of his motion for release. A legal call with his attorney was canceled without explanation. Questions about his physical well-being went unanswered. On June 16th, the reasons became apparent. Finally able to speak to Mr. Kelly by phone, the undersigned learned the following shocking revelations. Mr. Kelly went into solitary confinement with his medications and his possessions on June 10th, 2025. He takes medication for anxiety and to help him sleep. In addition to other medications, while in solitary confinement, prison staff approached him and he showed him the medications in his possession. This will appear on camera footage from the institution. Later in the evening, personnel came to Mr. Kelly's cell and provided him with additional medication and instructed to take it. This too will be captured on camera. The way this medication is administered to inmates in solitary confinement is as follows. A Bureau of Prisons official crushes up the pills and puts them in a small paper cup, which is given to the inmate. The inmate has to swallow the powder in the presence of the official. So it is not possible for the inmate to discern that pill or quantity of pills he is being given when it is crushed up in crushed up form. Mr. Kelly took the medication as directed because he's required to. This is on June 12th, 2025. After the undersigned filed a document revealing the solitary confinement conditions experienced by Mr. Kelly, in the early morning hours of June 13, 2025, Mr. Kelly awoke. He felt faint. He was dizzy. He started to see black spots in his vision. Mr. Kelly tried to get up, but fell to the ground. He crawled to the door of the cell and lost consciousness. He was placed in the gurney. Prison officials wanted him to be taken to an on-site medical facility, but staff there could not assist him. Consequently, Mr. Kelly was taken by ambulance to nearby Duke University Hospital. While in the ambulance, he heard one of the prison officers state, this is going to open a whole new can of worms. At the hospital, Mr. Kelly learned that he had been administered an overdose. An overdose quantity of his medications that threatened his life. He required hospitalization for 2 days to treat it. That means that within 2 days of filing this motion, Bureau of Prisons officials administered an amount of medication that significantly exceeded a safe dose that caused Mr. Kelly to overdose, putting his life in jeopardy. They gave him an amount of medicine that could have killed him. Unfortunately, administering an overdose quantity of medication to Mr. Kelly just days after his exposure to the Bureau of Prisons plot to kill him is not the end of the BOP actions that put his life in jeopardy. It actually gets much worse. For many months now, Mr. Kelly has been seeking medical attention for an obviously swollen leg. He has history of blood clots. He has been worried about further clots forming. Earlier this year, Mr. Kelly received what was supposed to be a scan for blood clots. He was then told by prison medical staff that they were only authorized to advise him that he would no longer be receiving blood thinners. He was taking off blood thinners at the time. He was within the past approximately 3 months. At Duke University, Mr. Kelly showed the doctors his leg. He shared his fears and his concerns. The hospital immediately did a scan for blood clots. That scan revealed blood clots in his right leg, blood clots in his left leg, blood clots in his lungs. The hospital indicated that he would need to be kept for several days and scheduled for surgery to clear the clots called a pulmonary embotomy. He was immediately placed back on blood thinners that Buckner medical staff. So it says here in the footnote, Mr. Kelly's blood clots began after the BOP mishandled his recovery from surgery to repair his Achilles tendon and failed to return Mr. Kelly to the operating hospital to remove his leg cast within the time frame ordered by medical professionals. So it says Butler staff discontinued. When advised he required surgery and needed to be kept for a week, officers assigned to Mr. Kelly in the hospital contacted the officials at Butler. Within an hour, officers with assault rifles came into the hospital room and removed R. Kelly. He was taken from the hospital against his will and against the directives of the doctors. He was then denied the surgery he needs to clear the blood clots in his legs that threaten his life. This happened. It has been confirmed by certain hospital staff. It will be confirmed by hospital records that has been ordered already. It is undeniable. Mr. Kelly's life was in jeopardy, is in jeopardy right now because the Bureau of Prisons denied him necessary surgery to clear clots from his legs. He could die from this condition at any time. And they are letting it happen. There is no legitimate explanation for that. Now, y'all, I will say this. Oh, wow. House of the Princess says treat him like a dog, just like he did those little girls. Okay. Gotcha. Says here, and what did the Bureau of Prisons officials do with an inmate just diagnosed with multiple blood clots at an outside hospital who needs surgical intervention? They took him out of the hospital and returned him to solitary confinement. Not even to the Butler Medical Facility. Since his return to Butler, Mr. Kelly is still being denied the blood thinners that were just prescribed to him at Duke University Hospital. But there is no way to interpret this. They are putting his life in danger intentionally. They intend to let him die. It is useful to juxtapose, whatever that is, the declaration of Mikhail Stein with the conduct of the Bureau of Prisons officials since the declaration became public that he exposed what he indicated as a Bureau of Prisons plot to kill Mr. Kelly in order to cover up crimes committed by the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Prisons officials during the investigation of his case. This raised stock and skepticism from some. The Bureau of Prisons officials responded to his allegations by, number one, putting Mr. Kelly in a solitary confinement against his will. Number two, overdosing him on prescription medications administered by prison staff. Now, I got to say, putting him in a solitary confinement against his will, he don't get no choice on where the hell he go when he in jail. The hell? The helly? Number two, overdosing him from prescription medications administered by prison staff. That's a problem. That's a problem. They should not be doing that. Okay. And number three, removing him from the hospital where they intended to perform surgery to clear blood clots that threaten his life. I don't agree with them removing him. Let the man have the doggone surgery. Number four, continuing to deny him blood thinners after they were explicitly prescribed to the hospital. Let the man have the blood thinners. All of this is verifiable through medical records that have been obtained. So Mr. Kelly says to the government, fanciful, whatever that word is, do Mr. Stein's claims sound now? It is not theatrics that took Mr. Kelly off the blood thinners that he needed. It was not theatrics that provided him with an overdose of medication. It was not theatrics that denied him necessary surgery on blood clots in his legs and lungs, which threatened his life at this minute. Bureau of Prisons officials did all of that on their own. And they did it within days of Mr. Stein's declaration going public. Those plain facts speak out louder than anything government counsel has to say. And they give one message loud and clear: Mr. Kelly's life is in danger, and the danger is coming from the Bureau of Prisons officials and their actions. Should witnesses like Jane, the friends who spoke to her about what prosecutors did, Keyshawn M., Mikhail Glenn Stein, and David Keith Harris, ever take the witness stand at a hearing on this motion? They will disclose a sordid and converted effort by prosecutors and BOP officials to violate Mr. Kelly's rights, to threaten the corruptly influence witnesses to commit the crimes of the theft and the obstruction of justice, and to the plot of murder of R. Kelly, rather than face the consequences that will follow once their criminal conduct is proven. If this testimony is given, these people can lose their job and their pensions. Under the current Trump Justice Department directives, these people will be prosecuted and go to jail. These people are now high-ranking officials and influential attorneys. They are senior prosecutors and even judges. If Jane, Stein, M., and Larry McGee get to the witness stand, all of those careers can be upended. All of those important lives can be destroyed. When Tawana Ingram was caught stealing Robert Kelly's calls and emails following a search warrant, her guilt was obvious. The U.S. attorney said that there were going to be an investigation and prosecution. What happened to Tawana? Nothing. She is retired quietly with her full pension. Her crime was swept under the rug. If that is not evidence of corruption inside the United States Attorney's Office, then what is? Following a search that established her guilt, a lot of people were necessarily involved in the discussion, in the decision to prevent Tawana Ingram from facing any of the justice she deserved. Some of the highest ranking people in the U.S. Attorney's Office had to sign off on that inexplicable decision. All of them are complicit in trying to cover up the corruption that is laid out above. All of them face devastating consequences should the testimony we seek to elicit from these witnesses ever get provided. All of them have every reason to try to prevent Mr. Kelly from ever litigating this motion. If Mr. Kelly is dead, the goal is accomplished. In the general public, no one really knows or notices what happens to people in prison. If anyone dies in prison, it seems like a commonplace. If someone is killed in prison, it's just what happens in there. It was a sad reality that few people really care about. With that in mind, it comes easy to understand how the people who committed this corruption and those that helped cover it up would rather kill a disgraced inmate convicted of sex crimes than face consequences that could ruin their lives and careers should he ever put his witness on the stand. The government does not want this pattern of BOP and DOJ collusion to commit crimes, intimidate witnesses, and violate rights to secure convictions to be plainly proven in a high-profile case. It will disgrace the United States Attorney's Office and Department of Justice. It will disgrace the Bureau of Prisons. And it will cause a long look to be taken at all of the other cases in which the same things happen every day and no one is paying attention. People have been killed for a lot less. And right now, Mr. Kelly's life is literally in danger as he sits in the BOP custody with life-threatening blood clots untreated in his lungs because the BOP prevented him from getting the treatment that could save him. It does not get more obvious than that. The Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 33 allows the defendant to bring a motion for a new trial based on newly discovered evidence within 3 years of a conviction. Case law. A motion for a new trial based on newly discovered evidence that demonstrates constitutional or statutory error may be brought under Rule 33 and should be granted if the interest of justice so requires. United States versus O'Malley. Argument. Newly discovered evidence establishes that the government engaged in numerous constitutional violations in its prosecutions of Mr. Kelly. The government violated Mr. Kelly's right to counsel by utilizing the jailhouse informant to elicit information from Mr. Kelly about the subject matter of the case. The government committed further violations of Mr. Kelly's rights to counsel as well as his right to due process under the Fifth Amendment through the surreptitious collection of Mr. Kelly's legal communications. And the government flouted its obligations under Brady and Giglio by concealing impeachment evidence that would damage its case against Mr. Kelly and demonstrate witness intimidation and obstruction of justice committed by prosecutors and BOP officers. The interest of the justice, therefore, requires a new trial. So as y'all remember, Brady and Giglio material, that was the stuff that we studied, that in Brady, there will be information that could actually help the defense against the prosecution. That's information that the prosecution may have where they say, hey, we really don't want to give you this because it can help you beat us. Right? And it goes both ways. What's up, Karen Johnson? How you doing? Okay. Here we go. Daughter of the Most High. How are you? What's going on? Rodney Williams. What's up, my brother? April Showers Network. Hello. All right, y'all. Let's bring this home. Number one, the government violated Mr. Kelly's rights to counsel and due process by embedding a government informant as his cellmate and stealing his legal communications. The Sixth Amendment provides in criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. United States versus Gonzalez. The core of this right has historically been and remains today the opportunity for a defendant to consult with his attorney to have him investigate the case and prepare a defense for trial. They cite more case law. The Supreme Court has held that the right extends to having counsel present at various pretrial critical interactions between the defendant and the government. United States versus Wade, including the deliberate elicitation by law enforcement officers of statements pertaining to the charge Messiah versus United States. Moreover, the Supreme Court has readily acknowledged the importance of attorney-client privilege, which is one of the oldest recognized privileges for confidential communications. More case law. Let's see. Accordingly, there has been widespread agreement that communications by post between the inmate and his attorney are whatever that word is. Oral intercourse has been hedged with similar protection. It says the fundamental justification of the Sixth Amendment right to counsel is the presumed inability of a defendant to make informed choices about the preparation and conduct of his defense. Free two-way communication between client and attorney is essential if the professional assistance guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment is to be meaningful. The purpose of the attorney-client privilege is inextricably linked to the very integrity and accuracy of the fact-finding process itself. Says here, the government's intrusion into the privileged conversations with one's attorney can just require the vacation of convictions. So they cite more case law. Okay, let me go down here. It says, let's see here. The Ninth Circuit has described the difficulty in assessing such claims. In cases where wrongful intrusion results in the prosecution obtaining the defendant's trial strategy, the question of prejudice is more subtle. In such cases, it will often be unclear whether and how the prosecution's improperly obtained information about the defendant's trial strategy may have been used, and whether there was prejudice. More important, in such cases, the government and the defendant will have unequal access to knowledge. The prosecution team knows what it did and why. The defendant can only guess. Herein, the government exhibited a blatant disregard of Mr. Kelly's right to counsel. It embedded M and Robert's cellmate, both before and after his New York trial, to obtain information against Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly discussed his case with M, and the information was provided to the BOP officials and the prosecution team. Acting as an informant alone would constitute a Sixth Amendment violation, but the government would further and enlisted M to obtain Mr. Kelly's privileged correspondence with his attorneys. Not only that, but the numerous BOP officials assessed Mr. Kelly's emails, including legal correspondence. The government used the information stolen by M and BOP officers to influence witnesses in this case and Mr. Kelly's New York prosecution. Compounding the prejudice, the government was able to assess Mr. Kelly's trial strategy from his stolen communications, the breadth of this violation, and the use of privileged communications in the prosecutions of Mr. Kelly are repugnant to the Constitution, to the constitutional guarantees of the right of counsel to due process. See United States versus they cite more case law. The government committed Brady and Giglio violations with warrant and a new trial. It was not enough for the government to ignore Mr. Kelly's right to counsel, but it deliberately concealed evidence that it was constitutionally required to produce under Brady and Giglio. For a Brady violation to exist, entitled a defendant to a new trial, he must establish, number one, that the prosecution suppressed evidence, number two, that the evidence was favorable to the defendant, and number three, it is material to the issue at trial. They cite more case law. Evidence and material. If there is a reasonable probability that had the evidence been disclosed to the defense, the result of the proceeding would have been different. Impeachment evidence falls within the Brady rule. Government suppression of the evidence in this case requires a new trial. The government suppressed the threat of prosecuting Jane's parents. Oh, hold on. Back up. The government suppression of evidence in this case requires a new trial. The government suppressed the threat of prosecuting Jane's parents if she did not testify. Who knew that? Did anybody else know that? If you knew that the government had threatened the Clarys with prosecution if she did not testify, put a 1 in the chat if you knew that already. If you didn't know that, put a 2 in the chat. If you knew it already, put a 1 in the chat. If you didn't know, put a 2 in the chat. Let's continue. The government also failed to disclose the financial promises it made to Jane. And the government flat out denied that any stolen communications were provided to Jane, and the clandestine meetings were arranged by McGee. Each of these certainly could have established bias and impacted Jane's credibility with the jury. Yeah, y'all, I'm like, y'all, I did not know that. What the hell? What the helly? I did not know that they told Jane, if you don't testify, we're going to prosecute your mama and daddy. And could that be a reason why they did not want them at the trial? Oh, my goodness. Let's read on. And one need not speculate about the result of the jury disbelieved her testimony. The acquittal in the 2008 trial is indisputable proof that the case could not stand without her. Recall that materiality under Brady requires only a reasonable probability that the result would be different. That the result will be different. There's more case law. It says there can be no doubt that the interest of justice required a new trial if Jane's evidence is presented at hearing. Y'all, now hold on. Let me make sure that I'm correct here. I don't want to say nothing wrong. Hold on. Let's see which one it is. The government suppression of evidence in this case requires a new trial. The government suppressed the threat of prosecuting Jane's parents if she did not testify. Now, y'all, is this the Jane from 2000 and hold on. Council. Is this Jane from the new one, meaning Ash, or is this for Rashana? Y'all help me. I don't want to be incorrect. Are they talking about the Jane from the 2008 trial with R. Kelly when they said he was on that, and maybe they threatened those parents? Or are we talking about the new Jane in this case, which will be Ash? It says this has to be Rashana. Okay, House of the Princess says this has to be Rashana. But even with that being said, I didn't know that they threatened her parents or threatened her to do that too. Okay, I just want to be right, y'all, because people are gonna look at this and say, "Oh, Atmos." That's why I asked y'all, because okay, so we're gonna say that they was talking about Rashana. Okay, cool. Mr. Kelly's stolen communications to specifically influence Jane in Jane, New York, could not have been uncovered by the investigation any more diligent than that undertaken in this case. Discovery and an evidentiary hearing are necessary to assess the full damage of the government's malfeasance and criminality in the prosecution of Mr. Kelly. However, given the grave constitutional violations in this case, the interest of justice certainly requires a new trial. The court should grant Mr. Kelly bond pending the resolution of this motion for a new trial. Okay, they was talking about Rashana. Okay, we knew that. Okay, cool. Mr. Kelly's life is demonstrably in jeopardy while in custody, and bond pending the resolution of his motion is warranted. The jeopardy has gotten worse since the plot to kill him became public. There is no conditions in prison that can protect him. That is proven every minute that he remains with deadly blood clots in his legs and treatment denied. Courts have inherent power to order the release of a prisoner bringing a collateral attack. They show some case law here. Although the case law mostly deals with habeas corpus, and 2255 petitions, the Seventh Court had noted that when made following the outcome of a direct appeal, a Rule 33 motion plainly is collateral in the usual sense of that term. They cite more case law. It says here, truly exceptional circumstances warrant Mr. Kelly's bond pending the resolution of this motion. Mr. Kelly's life is in danger. While he remains in the physical custody of the BOP days after Mr. Kelly filed his emotional motion outlining the corruption in his prosecution and the plot by BOP officials to order his execution, Mr. Kelly was given a potentially lethal overdose of medication while in solitary confinement. At the hospital, he was removed at gunpoint. Why the hell would they go in there with guns? Could somebody tell me that? I don't understand why they went in there with guns in the hospital as if this man got a gun. I don't. Can somebody help me? I think that's overkill. My opinion. I was removed at gunpoint after doctors determined that medical intervention was necessary to treat his blood clots. Mr. Kelly has been warned by BOP officials that things will only get worse for him while his counsel continues to uncover the corruption within the BOP. His release pending the resolution of this motion is necessary for the relief to be effective. A new trial offers no relief if one doesn't live to see it. An immediate bond hearing is requested. The undersigned will seek to call Michael Jean Stein at this hearing, along with Duke University Hospital doctors that will demonstrate the imminency of the threat that compels bond in this extraordinary circumstance. There is no circumstance issue behind which government can refute or refuge. Take refuge now that this motion is filed. Conclusion. The prosecutors of Mr. Kelly's brings to mind the warning offered by Justice Berdice in his Olmstead dissent. Decency, security, and liberty alike demand the government officials shall be subjected to the same rules and conduct that are commands to the citizen. And the government of laws existing of the government will be imperiled if it fails to observe the law scrupulously. Our government is the potent, the omnipresent teacher for good or for ill. It teaches the whole people by its example. Crime is contagious. If the government becomes a lawbreaker, it breeds contempt for law. It invites every man to become a law into itself, and it invites anarchy. To declare that the administration of the criminal law to end justifies the means, to declare the government may commit crimes in order to secure the conviction of a private criminal would be terrible retribution. Against the pernicious doctrine, this court should resolutely set its face. Unless indeed the adversary system of prosecution is to descend to the gladiatorial level, unmitigated by any prosecutorial obligation for the sake of truth, they cite case law. The government must be held to account in its constitutional violations. A new trial is necessary to guard against such dissent. Wherefore, Mr. Kelly respectfully requests that his honorable court, or this honorable court, order a new trial and Mr. Kelly's release pending the resolution of this motion. They cite more case law. This was presented by R. Kelly's lawyer, Mr. Bo B. Brindley. So y'all, let's have a conversation. Okay? Let me set my lights up, y'all. Hold on. Ooh, let's talk a little bit, y'all. What y'all thinking? What y'all think? I'm gonna put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to come up and offer your opinion about what we just read. I want you to be able to sound off and express yourself over what we just read. The link is in the chat. I can have over 10 people or more on here, y'all. So come on up. I want to hear y'all's opinions. Let me read some of y'all comments here. David Campbell says, do y'all think he is himself or somebody else? He OD'd himself or somebody else. Oh, House of the Princess says stunts and shows. Davis Campbell says he's black. Next question. LOL. To Be Black Native says it sounds like they tried to poison. They some big doggone words. Yeah, that was a lot. It was a lot. Anyone want to come on and speak your mind? You're more than welcome. Y'all, this give y'all my take on this. Do I think he should get out of prison? No. He was convicted based on the evidence of what he did. Nobody made up stuff on him and put it together. No, you are found guilty of your crimes. You need to do your time. Now, do I think he should get the medical attention he needs for his blood clots? Yes, that is very serious. One of them blood clots go up to his heart. Look, he done, right? What's up, House of the Princess? How you doing?
Hey.
Yeah. So one of them blood clots go up to his heart. He done, y'all. No matter how much you hate him, no matter how much you can't stand him, I don't think I don't know. Maybe some people want to see him die. I don't want to see the man die that way. I would hope it's a natural cause or whatever, but to know that he has issues like that and not let him get the medical treatment, to go in there with guns, I don't get that. I don't understand that. What was the threat that made you have to go in with guns? I don't get that part. I don't. As far as this thing about the old man trying to kill him and all this kind of stuff, I don't see why they want to kill R. Kelly. I don't see why.
And why would you send an old man to do a young man's job?
Yeah, like this guy is months away from dying. Months, which means he's probably old, probably crippled. Why would you send him to R. Kelly could have killed him?
Yeah, you're gonna send a terminally ill person. Like, what is he gonna do? Is they gonna fight to, scrap?
Yeah, well, it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense to me.
I think. Go ahead. I'm gonna give it on my soapbox when you're done.
Go ahead.
Go. Now you can finish because I want to hear.
No, I believe he should get treatment. Put him back on his freaking blood thinners. Let the man have his freaking surgery or whatever he needs. Don't be the reason. You already got all these allegations against you. It looks horrible for the doctors to say, allegedly, he needs emergency treatment, and you go in with guns and rush him out of there and throw him in the hole and don't give him the blood thinners that can help him. That looks really freaking suspicious, if it's true. Now, these lawyers are highly paid. They're they're highly crafty with their words, and they know how to work these motions and these laws. I don't want to see R. Kelly die like that. If he dies from a freaking blood clot and they could have prevented it, that's going to be horrible. If they do decide to grant this motion and he don't live to get on to see this or see it through, y'all, I don't know. The floor is yours, Princess.
I feel that he should live and suffer in that hole like he did those little girls. I don't agree with, like, deny him. Anybody, even animals, should have proper medical care. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm with that. Why would you take him out of the hospital for, you know what I'm saying? Why would you take him out of the hospital? And then I think all of the I think all that stuff with the weapons and all of that, that's theatrics. That was just like he said, he's a black man and all of that. My brother just had something similar. He had emergency surgery with some embolisms, and they had to go into his pelvic and groin area and fix some veins to pump the blood to his heart and through his legs, right? And they were causing blood clots. He could have lost his life. I haven't seen him, but they say, that those veins carry blood to the whole body, and it can be extremely painful to not get, if you have basic non-circulation, just think about sitting somewhere too long and your blood stops flowing and it hurts, right? So you're talking about this all over his body and his legs and stuff, having fluid on his legs and through his body. I'm sure that is painful. One part of me says, yeah, you should hurt, but I don't believe that he should be denied basic necessities and care that he should have as a human being. At the end of the day, it is God's will to punish or reward anybody. I feel like this is partially a stunt to say, hey, he's sick, so we should send him home so he could get some good cooking and he should get the proper Medicare that he can afford to have and let him do his stuff from home. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So he could come home, be on an ankle monitor or sit up there and be on social media from his living room and he can mail order some coochie. Absolutely not. Let him stay institutionalized some form of fashion. But should they take care of him? Yes. Yeah, I'm with it. I want him to serve every bit of his time and suffer the way he's supposed. He kept them girls in prison, and he should be in prison too.
And here's my thing. Why are you asking for relief when you haven't given Joy no relief? You haven't given, and I'm sorry, some people may think I'm crazy, but I think that this little girl, Mia, has something she's wrapped in there too. Somehow the same people that was around Joy and Az are the same people that was in pictures with her. Right? Something is something that I think is, you got to connect the dots with that. People are not talking about this little girl in Chicago named Mia that's been missing for all these years. Ain't seen her mother. Mother hasn't heard from her. No one talking about that. Now, as far as Joy go, how do you have the audacity to ask for some relief when you won't provide the relief for them girls? That don't make no sense to me. Zero. Like, you would think even back in the day when, I was talking to shout out to Levi for Kelly. I was talking to Levi because he was talking to R. Kelly like all the time. And I was saying to him, like, bro, can you just ask him to let the girls go? Can you ask him to let Joy go? Can you ask him to just release his link on her And I don't know, Levi said that he had his own way of talking to him. He never confirmed or denied if he told R. Kelly, who he spoke to on the phone 2 and 3 times a day, if he ever told him, like, bro, let this damn girl go home. Do you realize all of the extra drama you're putting on yourself by keeping this girl from her mama and daddy? What the hell are you thinking? Let her go.
I think the addiction and the narcissism kept him from doing that. That would mean letting go of control, or just like I was talking to someone about reparations in this country yesterday, then that would also mean that admit that you have done some type of wrongdoing.
But we all
right?
already know you have. We all already know what she's going to say.
That don't mean I want to admit to it.
He ain't admit to nothing.
It's my story. I'm sticking to it.
That's one of his songs, ain't it? Just saying. Now, all these R. Kelly bloggers that are just going freaking crazy right now. I get it, because me as a person who I'm on record for saying I think R. Kelly should be let out of prison if it is proven that there were people that aided and abetted his demise in a non-ethical way. So people can say, well, Atlas, you say he should get out of jail when you found out about the text messages and all that. Yes, and I stand by that. However, this attempt to try to drag Larry into it, I mean, it got my boy name all up in through the paperwork. I thought after they, took the first stab and it didn't work, they was going to kind of that angle didn't work, let it go. Hell no, they coming right back. So I purposely did not speak on this. People been asking, Atlas, why you so quiet? Why you not saying nothing? Because your boy Larry and no, I wanted to hear all the evidence first.
This is quite quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So to make a long story short, my opinion is give the man the medical treatment that he needs for his clouts. Do not let him out of prison. That don't make no sense. I don't understand why he would need to be let out. Stop messing with people who have already done their time, served their time, done their crime, served their time, who are out here trying to rebuild themselves and get their lives back together. Stop bringing up old stuff. Stop re-victimizing people. Let people live. Let people move on with their life. You got some of these bloggers that are really just going insane, and I'm going to have everybody locked up. Even I hear my name on Dana channel yesterday. Even Atlas can go to jail. The fuck?
Go to jail for saying your name. Like, go to hell. How about that?
Yeah. Well, go to jail for what? Reading paper?
It's called free speech.
It's called free speech. Look, so I don't know. But Princess, I appreciate you. I know you're doing the work over on your channel. What's your channel, man? So people can,
It's House of the Princess. We've been pretty dead, but this weekend, I'm gonna get these files. Maybe even tonight if I get done with this work. We're gonna be, lighting it up, and I'm gonna be reading these things, doing some other content. I just was doing some politicking today, so I'm gonna go back to doing some radio work.
Some radio work?
Yeah, and so I'll be on an iHeart station, so I'll be posting that up soon.
Ooh.
I'm coming down to ATL, so
okay.
After I give it
this way, I gotta come holler at you.
Yeah, after allegedly we having another birthday party. I'll see a birthday dinner.
Okay.
So after I come back, I'll be back home. We're gonna get the work done.
We had somebody just come on the channel. Hello, how you doing, Tamara?
Yeah, it's diva time.
What up, Diva Time in the building? What up? Your picture?
Yes,
Okay, you got two different pictures. How you doing?
yes, sir. I'm doing good. This is what I want to say. I want to say this right here. Okay, so the Bible tells us we reap what we sow anyway. So our killer just might be reaping what he sowed. I mean, you get as good as you give.
Mm.
And I'm not trying to judge. I don't want to come off sounding judgmental or anything, but we reap what we sow. So yeah, he's getting whatever he's sowing, what he reaped.
Yeah.
And if it's in God's will that he leave this earth, then oh well, he going, whether he have blood clots or he just fall dead tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to see him die. And yes, I do believe that if he's sick, like if he really for real is sick, then he do need to receive treatment. I wouldn't want a dog
Yeah.
to,
Right.
be sick
Yeah.
and not receive treatment.
No.
You know, that's just humanity. That's being humane.
Correct.
However,
I agree.
however, you still reap what you sow.
Mm-hmm. You do. I agree with you. I agree with you totally. Now, another thing. I don't know if it's possible that Trump could pardon him. Trump is very unpredictable. Do I think he would? No.
It
Is
would
it
be a
Why not?
disgrace. It would be a disgrace if he did it.
Since when Trump worried about a disgrace? Like he let out a lot of people
Oh
that
yeah, he's
already
disgraceful now.
that you knew they did, like Kodak Black and Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne has
Yeah,
said for years
your NBA young boy, he gave him a pardon.
he
Damn.
don't even know these people. It's not like he's sitting up there listening to their music or paying attention to what they've been doing for the past couple of years. Wayne has said for years he does not vote and he does not pay attention to what's going on in the politics. But he pardoned him, and what that man do, put that red hat on like a clown. Blagojevich over here kind of kissing the ring. And you a whole Democrat Party. Like, you talked against this for years. But when it comes to people and their freedom, they'll suck anybody's penis to get
Yeah,
what
they
they
don't
need to get.
care. Exactly. I really hope that Trump don't do that. But my thing is, his people, the MAGA folks, they are supposed to be staunchly against, child pedos and folk like that. So I would imagine he would probably lose some support. He pardoned R. Kelly. Now I can see him pardoning Diddy before he pardoned R. Kelly, and I don't want neither one of them pardoned.
Lies. Because they all doing it. Trump has been accused of being with young people. He's over there friends
yeah.
with Epstein. They all
Right.
them rich white men over there doing anything and anybody and anything with their nasty selves. I don't think he would lose support. I kid you not. I guess it's on the Neighborhood Talk or something. And somebody put together a focus group, and I watched it on Funky.Neva. A focus group of MAGA followers, and they made some AI type of situations with Orange 4547 speaking. And one of them was saying like, oh yeah, I took a DNA test about Ivanka because I don't want her to not be my daughter, and she was fine as hell and thick.
Wow.
It's a luxury.
I don't find no credibility in no AI crap.
But it was AI on purpose. They did it to see what the reactions of his followers would be. Yeah. And those bastards,
they didn't care.
They didn't care.
They didn't even care. I already know they didn't care.
AI. You gotta understand. You gotta understand how Trump is. He calls the news fake anyway. Fake news. So he got that in their head. But y'all listen.
No, they were like, well, it's his daughter. He's just saying that his daughter is attractive. Like, it was disgusting.
Yeah, that's disgusting for real.
It is. Well, y'all, listen, I got to get off of here. I got to get to work, but I wanted to come on here and read it from the point of view of people who don't completely support R. Kelly and his crazy, disgusting ways. Yeah, demonic, nasty, trifling ways. Let the R. Kelly supporters, bloggers out there say, chill out. He not getting out. Don't stress yourself out about it. It's just not going to happen.
He got too much against him to be trying to go somewhere.
Way too much. Well, listen, y'all. I appreciate y'all coming on here. Y'all be blessed. I love y'all. And
have a good night at work, bro.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Will do. I'll see y'all later. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for coming to the Atmos Love Zone. If you want to be a supporter of this channel, at the bottom, you can see where you can help support. To Be Black Native, thank you for the blessing. If you want to hit the Cash App, it's $ Lady K Online. You can PayPal me / Atmos Love, or you can do Apple Pay at my phone number, or you can also Zelle at the phone number also. I want to thank y'all for your support. God bless you. Y'all, peace out.
Haters, all good. Thought I couldn't when I could. Woo!